Don in London. Hello, April 23rd, 2009. Time is just coming up to 9 o'clock in the morning. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance, alcohol; my behaviour, trying to please people, full of fear for a lot of the time, putting on a brave face and trying to live, I guess, with a very brittle ego rather than courage, faith and confidence or self-esteem. And I guess along the way I met a lot of people who were looking for people to be perfect in the roles that they had, either in business or in family or in partnership, or at least that's what I thought. And in business, obviously, perfection was where everybody aimed in order to get the best result, and the best result often meant how we were paid, how we were able to cope with our environment, and whether we were making more and more profits. And in this time of catastrophic recession and a budget yesterday in the UK which left nobody very happy at all, I guess we have to do the best we can. And part of what helps me as a recovering addict or recovering alcoholic is to acknowledge I can only be recovered for one day, and I know I'm recovered for one day when I go to sleep without a drink. So my videos simply are really about how to get back into recovery if you've been out for a while, or how to get into recovery if you have an addiction to either substance or behaviour. And for me, the cornerstone of my recovery was not only getting the right medical advice and professional help, it was then how do I sustain this for any period of time. So I went to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and my first few meetings left me gasping for a drink because I couldn't understand what was going on. And I wasn't really all that teachable in those early days. I was still in the conundrum of self-will run riot, self-obsession, fear beyond imagination, and not wanting to wake up every morning. That's what it was like. And I guess anybody who's found themselves in that situation really looks either to stop waking up or try and find a solution. So moving from the problem to solution, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, has provided me with sustainable one-day recovery, daily recovery, one day long. So the graduation time is when it is bedtime, and we start again in the morning. So there we go, how it works for me. So I go to one of many meetings a day in London, up to 600, and at the beginning of every meeting of AA there's a preamble shared, and I may share all the tools of the trade, if you like, for the fellowship. I don't speak for it, I just speak about my experience, strength and hope, and how it works for me. No one speaks for AA. It's a leaderless organisation with trusted servants who do the bit which is necessary to keep things going across borders and understand the traditions of the fellowship. So the preamble goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And that last sentence where it says our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety is pretty much what I'm trying to do here as well. And it's for me, I need to do these things. It's part of my meditation and sharing, if you like. It's to be included in the world rather than excluded and isolated. So, open, honest and willing is part of the format of life for me as best I can. I'm never going to be perfect at it. And there are 12 action steps in the programme, and 12 steps, 12 months. In the literature, Daily Reflections, this one, it covers one step a month basically, and April is step 4 obviously, and it's all about a fearless moral inventory where we try to be open, honest and willingly look at what we've done with our lives, do a fresh appraisal if you like against our assets and liabilities, to pick out where the resentments are against ourselves and maybe other people, and then learn how to be forgiving, that we are all human and we need to understand where we are. Not so for politicians, obviously, in our country, because most people don't believe a word of what has just happened in the budget yesterday. And I smile because I think the person speaking is believing their own stuff. Anyway, Same thing here. April 23, it says AA is not a cure-all. Yes, it can't save or cure. It would be a product of false pride to claim that AA is a cure-all, even for alcoholism. In my early years of sobriety, I was full of pride, thinking that AA was the only source of treatment for a good and happy life. It certainly was the basic ingredient for my sobriety, and even today, with over 12 years in the programme, and I'm nowhere near that, I'm just a day at a time, me, I'm very involved in meetings, sponsorship and service. During the first 4 years of my recovery, I found it necessary to seek professional help, since my emotional health was extremely poor. There are those folks too, who have found sobriety and happiness in other organisations. AA taught me that I had a choice to go to any lengths to enhance my sobriety. AA may not be a cure-all for everything, but it is the centre of my sober living. And for me, definitely, it's the centre of my sober living. And sometimes I forget to turn off Messenger, and it makes noises. But, you know, is there such a thing as a cure-all? Well, I haven't found it. Actually, I thought drink was my cure-all, because it took away the fear, the pain, and it put me in a place of isolation and exclusion, which was better because I didn't know how to cope with life too well. And my relationships were always a bit rocky and a bit short-term. And I guess that was down to my outlook, created by my upbringing. And, you know, when I look at it now, I don't want to blame anybody about that, because in step 4, what we really start to see is, as we point the finger at somebody else like that, or like that, there's 3 pointing right back at me. So I have to acknowledge my part in it. I was there to participate in what was going on, and I just didn't understand the choices I had, and that was around fear. So trying to be included, trying to be a part of, people pleasing, probably put me in harm's way more often than not. I'm in my 50s and I'm still learning how to do this. And you know, Gandhi said something. He said an emphatic no is better than a half-hearted yes, and that's something I'm learning on a daily basis. Sometimes I keep saying yes when I mean no. It's a bit like that character, yes but no but, yes but no but. And am I bothered? And the answer is I am bothered sometimes at my inability to say no, because I feel guilty. And these days I just try and do a better job of it, saying, and I can quote Gandhi and say, an emphatic no is better than a half-hearted yes. And the simple answer is, just because we look idle or not doing something, it doesn't mean another person can exploit our time and energy. So, going on to As Bill Sees It, which I love, because it's, you know, the people who wrote these things, when it says not a cure-all and it's about responsibility, it was actually pointing out that AA need change or it will die. So it needs to change with where society is, community, family, outlooks, attitudes and civilization. And as we're going towards the truth, we're probably on a better wicket. Anyway, the benefits of responsibility, page 84. Happily, AA's per capita expenses are very low. For us to fail to meet them would be to evade a responsibility beneficial for us. Most alcoholics have said they had no troubles that money would not cure. We are a group that, when drinking, always held out a hand for funds. So when we commenced to pay our own service bills, this is a healthy change. Because of drinking, my friend Henry had lost a high-salaried job. There remained a fine house with a budget 3 times his reduced earnings. He could have rented the house for enough to carry it, but no, Henry said he knew that God wanted him to live there, and he would see if the costs were paid. So Henry went on running up bills and glowing with faith. Not surprisingly, his creditors finally took over the place. Henry can laugh about it now, having learned that God more often helps those who are willing to help themselves. And you know what, that's really interesting with the budget we've had. You know, if we do cut our cloth to suit our needs and what we have, we probably are better at understanding our emotional, spiritual and physical well-being, and being honest and open does a lot. So fellowship for me keeps me honest as best I can, and I'm only making progress, because we all have denials in us and we all have filters around how we live. So, to make it work for me, I look for serenity in that serenity prayer, which says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, which in my case is a bit of poverty, courage to change the things I can, that is, make best use of what is, and the wisdom to know the difference, and that happens on a daily basis, with a bit of good fortune and a bit of support and inclusion.